Hello, it's me, I'm back, but this time it's different. I decided back in January that I wasn't happy with the direction of this YouTube channel, or rather the lack of direction. There were two issues with the Julianne channel as it was. Number one, the most important, was that I was bored of it. I'd been making videos for years and not really changed up how I made them since I got my current camera and Premiere Pro. They were pretty much all me talking to camera, just like this, and well, YouTube had moved on. In fact, I had moved on. I just hadn't acknowledged it yet. I kept making videos the same way because it was easy and quick, even though the videos that I enjoy watching are far more interesting to look at. I loved having a YouTube video, I loved talking about books, but the process of making videos had become something I didn't mind, rather than something I actively enjoyed and got excited about doing. I realised, in fact, that I had far more fun making the videos for my partner's Kickstarter campaigns, because I would have lots of different shots to play with, special effects, screen recordings, music, sound effects, etc. to make it fun. The second issue was that not very many people watched this channel. My subscriber count has crept very slowly up over the years, but the engagement is really poor. I've done better cross-posting videos elsewhere, like Twitter and Instagram. I kept going regardless because I like making videos and I like having them to look back on. I did consider that if I was just making videos for me, I could save a lot of time by just recording them and sticking them on a hard drive somewhere to look back at later. But the more I thought about what it would actually be like to do this, the less it appealed. If I wasn't editing new videos and posting them, then I wouldn't get to develop new skills, try out different things, and really that's what I wanted to be doing. So I put the channel on hold. There was a lot going on in my life and I wanted to give my brain some time to spin ideas round and see if I could come up with something I really wanted to do with this channel. I could have tried to hash it out over a couple of days and come up with a new idea and put it into practice straight away, but also I wanted to test out whether I would actually miss having a YouTube channel. I was thinking to myself, do you really enjoy doing this thing as much as you think you do? Is there actual potential here for further entertainment and joy in your life? Or are you done with it? And the only way I could be sure, and I decided the only way I could be sure, was to take a break. I felt like I probably would miss having a YouTube channel, but I wanted to be sure that it wasn't a dead interest and something I could move on from, or something I wanted to park for a couple of years until I figured out something new and exciting to do with it. What happened was this. I immediately missed making videos. Yes, I got some time back, but I really missed the creativity and fun aspect of video creation. When I made the video for Nick's last Kickstarter campaign earlier in the year, I enjoyed it so much I knew I had to figure out a YouTube idea that worked for me. And so I gave myself even more time. To go back to January for a moment, when I planned out my priorities for this year, I decided to focus on just two things. The first one is writing, because I'm nearly done with a couple of projects that I want to send to agents, and I just really wanted to get those done and get on with having a writing career, hopefully. And the other thing is decluttering, because my stuff is oppressing me. I have too much stuff in my house. I had too much stuff in my flat. I had too much stuff in my childhood bedroom. In fact, I still have too much stuff in my childhood bedroom because my house isn't that big and I haven't been able to bring it all here yet. A friend of mine was moving recently and watched the BBC show Sort Your Life Out and was talking about it, and I got intrigued and I decided to check it out as well. In Sort Your Life Out, various families get to put everything they own into a giant warehouse so they can Marie Kondo style decide what to keep. And while I was watching it, I got inspired because the team are extremely cute and lovely, all the families were adorable, and the way their houses looked at the end was brilliant. I could see how much more peace of mind and organisation doing this had brought to their lives, and it had changed them forever, and all that lovely good stuff. However, at the same time, I realised that putting all my stuff into a giant warehouse would not help me because I don't actually have excess stuff that I don't want. My wardrobe is big, but fully Marie Kondoed, and for years, whenever I've finished reading a book and decided it's not one I want to treasure forever, I have found a new home for it, usually within a month. What I do have is stuff I could use up, but don't make the time to use. For example, my tea and hot chocolate cupboard, full of tea I don't drink because I forget I have it and drink water instead. My cupboard full of craft supplies I don't make time to use. My drawer of nail polish I don't bother to make the most of. And my bookshelves full of books that I don't read because I'm too busy checking Twitter and getting into a miserable state about how things are in the world. And so at the start of the year, I decided I was going to have a major declutter. And the issue I have kept running into this whole year is that for the most part, what I need to do is use stuff up. So what do the tea, craft supplies and nail polish have in common? Well, the tea takes up one shelf in my larder cupboard. I would like it to be a smaller shelf in a different cupboard, but you know, it's still only one shelf. The craft supplies take up one cupboard. I would like them to take up less than the full cupboard, but again, it's all in one place and it's fairly contained. The nail polish is in one drawer. I would like to have space in that drawer for other things, but ultimately it's just one drawer. Books, on the other hand, books are a monster. Unread books are ruining my life. That might sound like hyperbole, but they have a far more dramatic impact on how I live my life than I ever considered before. I have very little space on my shelf for other things. I have cards here, kind of shoved in between books to hold them up because I don't have space for them to just stand on their own. I have loads of lovely ornaments and prints in my cupboard that I cannot put out on display because the books take up too much room. I keep knocking stuff off because nothing is properly arranged because of the books. I don't have space for new books, so I can't support friends who have books coming out without feeling extremely guilty about it. Another issue is that I miss being a more spontaneous reader, like I was before I became a book blogger and accumulated masses of books. I feel like I am surrounded by a towering to-do list whenever I'm in my office or living room, and it gives a mental load to my space I just do not want it to have anymore. Unfortunately, the problem with books is that they take quite a lot of time to use up, in other words, read. I can use up tea and nail polish while living my ordinary life, just remembering that I have these things and using them up. Not so with books. Books need to be prioritised. Fortunately, reading books not only supports my decluttering goal, but it also helps with the writing goal because the more I read, the more easy I find it to write. And so I thought, if I make this YouTube channel about my quest to read down my bookshelves and get to a much smaller number of books on these shelves, then it will be actually supporting both of these goals. And that meant I could actually do it because my golden rule at the moment is that all of my smaller goals must support those two big goals. I can't do anything that deviates or detracts from those goals. They all must come back to those two things so that I definitely get them done. And thus, it all came together perfectly. This is my channel relaunch. Julianne versus TBR. This time, it's serious. The reader strikes back. So come along for the ride. In my next video, I'm going to talk about my preparation for this project. And then after that, I'll be talking about the rules that I will live by. So come back next week to learn more. Thank you so much for watching. You'll see me again soon. Bye.